This episode of the A.T.TIPSCAST is sponsored by TextHelp Systems, provider of award-winning literacy solutions including Read and Write Gold and Fluency Tutor. For more information, go to www.texthelp.com. That's www.texthelp.com. Welcome to the A.T.TIPSCAST, exploring and investigating the implementation of assistive technology in public schools. I'm your host, Chris Bouguet. This is episode number 75, recorded on May 12, 2011. Since the early 1990s, the primary method of accessing a computer has been via a keyboard and a mouse. In contemporary times, we actually have a variety of options at our disposal to access the computer. Items like joysticks, touchscreens, and trackballs are just a few of the other ways one might use to navigate the computer. Despite these other options, the most commonly used method for computer access continues to be the keyboard and the mouse. Therefore, I thought it might be a good idea to take a look at some of the ways one might adjust the properties of a standard mouse based on different needs or preferences. For the sake of time, I'm going to limit the description to the mouse properties on a Windows computer, but I'm throwing out the invitation right now to anyone who'd like to produce a guest episode describing the mouse properties for any other operating system, Windows, Mac, anything else. If you're interested, just send an email to A.T.TIPSCAST@gmail.com. But for now, let's get into A.T.TIP number 200, mouse properties for Windows XP and Windows 7. To access the mouse properties, go to the Start menu and then...
Chris! Get in here! There's a mouse in the kitchen!
Really? What does he look like?
He's gray and fuzzy and all rodent looking. Get him out of here! He's sitting here staring at me.
Tell him to come in here.
Tell him yourself. Get up off the couch and get over here to rescue your wife.
Honey, it's just a mouse. He isn't going to hurt you.
Shoo, mouse, shoo.
Here, mousy, mousy. Here, mousy, mousy.
He's coming, Chris. I think it's working.
Hey there, little mousy. You okay?
Yeah, I'll be fine, but that lady really scared me.
You talk?
No, I'm speaking to you telepathically in your mind. Of course I talk.
This is amazing. Honey, this mouse can talk.
I don't care if he can sing hot dog, hot diggity dog. I don't want him back in my kitchen.
Sheesh, she's kinda touchy.
Nah, it's just that she really likes a clean kitchen.
My old lady's the same way.
Wow, this is just blowing my mind.
I heard you were about to talk about mouse properties, and I thought I could help. Mouse properties are my specialty. I'm a real estate mouse.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about a computer mouse and the changes you can make to the mouse for your computer.
Oh, rats. I thought you were looking at selling some space. You sure you don't want to reconsider? With all the crumbs on the floor, it'd make the perfect place for some mice.
No. My wife nearly freaked out just at the sight of one mouse. I don't think she'd like mice as tenants.
Well, if you change your mind, let me know. See ya.
Wait, while you're here, you want to help me record this episode? Telling people about mouse properties?
Sure, I guess. Mouse properties fluctuate pretty regularly. It's a buyer's market right now, especially with all the cats in the neighborhood, and...
No. Again, I'm talking about the computer properties. I'm telling people about the mouse properties with Windows XP and Windows 7.
XP and 7? Why both?
Well, because I think there's still some schools out there that are using Windows XP, and I know that there's some other school systems that have moved to Windows 7. But mostly because I think the mouse properties are pretty much the same on both systems.
Okay then, but if I help you, will you consider renting to a nice family of field mice?
Sure, I'll see what I can do. Let's get started. Let's start with where to find the mouse properties. Go to Start, Control Panel, Mouse. This will open the mouse properties window. You'll see 5 different tabs along the top in this order: Buttons, Pointers, Pointer Options, Wheel, and Hardware. Let's start with the Button tab.
The Button tab?
In the Button tab, you'll see a checkbox to swap the functions of the buttons on the mouse. By selecting this checkbox, you can make the right-click button be the left-click button, and vice versa. You'll also see a slide bar to change the double-click speed. You know how you double-click to open something, like a folder or a file? Well, if people have trouble clicking fast enough to make it a double-click, they can make adjustments to the double-click speed so they don't have to click as fast.
Is there anything else in the button tab?
Well, there is one other function called the click lock. This lets someone highlight or drag without holding down the mouse button. It's really useful for someone who has difficulty holding the mouse button down while moving the mouse around.
Nicely done. You're like the big cheese when it comes to the button tab.
Oh boy, why do I feel a bunch of cheesy jokes coming on right now?
Once we get started, it's going to be so hard to stop. I've heard them all before, though. Oh, Mouse, you're unbelievable. Oh, Mouse, you're a slice above the rest. Oh, Mouse, you're so sharp.
All right, well, let's be courteous to the audience and move on. Get it? Courteous?
You are not funny. You know that? You are not funny.
The second tab over is the Pointers tab. Here a user can change the look of the pointer they use. In the scheme area, the user can choose from a bunch of preset schemes, including some that are extra large and black. And this might help someone with visual difficulties track where the cursor is on the screen.
Yeah, I've got a few cousins with vision problems who live out west on a farm. Your wife is nothing compared to the woman they live with. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. They all share a computer and use screen reading software.
Well, yeah, screen reading software might be how someone who is blind might access the computer, but if someone has low vision, they might be able to use the screen with modifications, like changing the size or shape of the cursor. Of course, sometimes people just prefer a different cursor even if they don't have a disability. Sometimes it's just nice to give people options, you know? For instance, you can even pick a dinosaur as a cursor, which might be good to help engage a preschool student.
Dinosaurs? That sounds dynamite!
Speaking of options, the next tab is the Pointer Options tab. In this tab, people can choose to speed up or slow down the speed of the pointer, choose a setting to have the pointer automatically snap to the default button in a dialog box or open window, create a super psychedelic trail with the pointer, set the pointer to be hidden when typing, and set the computer to locate the pointer with some concentric targeting circles when the user hits the control key on the keyboard. Again, all of these are useful for anyone who has trouble locating and or controlling the cursor on the screen. The next tab is called the Wheel tab.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. High-tech stuff indeed. We can use it to control the running wheels we're going to have installed in each of the apartments. It could measure revolutions based on number of miles you've traveled. This way, residents can keep track of their workouts, you know? It would be a huge selling point.
Oh geez, sorry Mouse, that's not what the Wheel tab is for. Remember, we're talking computer controls here. It controls the wheel on the mouse. It doesn't do much other than allow you to control the number of lines you skip at a time when you use the mouse wheel. It's useful for someone who has difficulty scrolling on the screen, though.
I'd like it better if it gave me a readout of how many calories I've burned instead. You sure you wouldn't reconsider putting those in? It could drive up the price considerably.
Let's tell people about the last tab, shall we?
The last tab looks kind of bogus. It looks to me like it just tells the type of mouse they're using. Nothing useful there.
Well, maybe, but if someone is using some sort of specialized mouse, like a trackball mouse or something like that, the settings for that mouse will likely be found in this tab. So don't be afraid to explore and make changes based on your personalized needs.
That sounds like good advice in general. Don't be afraid to explore and customize. What works for one might not work for all. That's exactly our philosophy when it comes to buying and selling property. You gotta feel it out and see what works for you. After all, everyone is a little different.
Well said, Mouse. Now, you better act like Speedy and Andale before my wife starts building a better mousetrap.
So you're not going to rent out any space?
Oh, I don't think so, but thanks again for co-hosting this episode with me. It was mighty helpful. Glad you were here to help me save the day. Once again, everyone, I'd like to invite anyone out there listening to put together a little something explaining the differences between the mouse properties described in this episode and the mouse properties on the operating system that you use. I'd love to play it in a future episode. If you'd like to chat about this, drop me a line at A.T.TIPSCAST@gmail.com. Also, I'll have links to information about mouse properties over at the blog A.T.TIPSCAST.wordpress.com. Until next time, may all your interventions be inclusive, may all your strategies be supportive, and I hope you had a good time.